He was a war hero, a brilliant lawyer, a president beloved by millions at first. But behind the sharp suits and eloquent speeches was a man who would bleed his country dry. This is the true story of Ferdinand Marcos, the dictator of the Philippines who rose on promises and fell in disgrace, leaving behind a legacy of power, wealth, and pain.
Born in 1917, Ferdinand Marcos grew up in Ilocos Norte in northern Luzon. As a young man, he was brilliant, valedictorian, debater, a bar top-notcher. But even in his youth, ambition eclipsed morality. He was convicted of murder in 1939, accused of killing the man who defeated his father in an election, but he argued his own case on appeal and won. That courtroom victory was just the beginning. During World War II, he claimed to be a war hero, a resistance fighter who endured Japanese prison camps. The U.S. military would later dispute most of those claims, but it didn't matter. In the eyes of the public, Marcos was a hero.
In 1965, he was elected president of the Philippines. He was charismatic, charming, and he promised a new society, one built on discipline, nationalism, and progress. Roads were built, infrastructure improved. At first, hope was everywhere, but power was addictive. As his second term neared its end and the Constitution forbade a third, Marcos declared martial law in 1972, citing communist threats and civil unrest. Overnight, the Philippines became a police state. Curfews were imposed, the media was shut down, Congress dissolved, political opponents were arrested, tortured, or simply disappeared. And while the people lived in fear, the Marcos family lived in luxury.
Ferdinand and his wife, Imelda Marcos, turned the nation into their personal kingdom. They built palaces, dozens, imported artwork, jewelry, and shoes. Imelda's wardrobe became infamous, over 3,000 pairs of shoes, closets the size of apartments, shopping trips that cost millions. All while the country's economy collapsed. The Marcos regime stole an estimated $10 billion, 0 cents. They funneled money through fake companies, offshore accounts, Swiss banks. Meanwhile, ordinary Filipinos were starving, unemployed, or silenced.
But no tyranny lasts forever. In 1983, opposition leader Benigno Ninoy Aquino Jr. returned from exile and was assassinated on the tarmac in front of the world. The killing shocked the nation and awakened its conscience. The final blow came in 1986 during the People Power Revolution. Millions of Filipinos, unarmed, peaceful, flooded the streets of Manila demanding an end to Marcos' rule. Soldiers defected, the world watched, and on February 25, 1986, Ferdinand Marcos fled the country aboard a U.S. helicopter, whisked away to Hawaii with Imelda and their closest allies. He died 3 years later in exile. Never tried, never imprisoned, his body remained in a refrigerated crypt for decades.
But the story didn't end there. The Marcos name never disappeared. In 2016, his body was buried, controversially, in the Heroes Cemetery. And today, his son, Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos Jr., holds the presidency. History, it seems, has a strange sense of irony.
Ferdinand Marcos promised a better Philippines. What he delivered was corruption, fear, and betrayal. He built a nation of mirrors, where truth was manipulated and power became law. But the people remembered. They rose, and in the streets of Edsa, they proved something powerful. No dictator, no matter how wealthy or feared, can stand forever against a united voice.